shines in British skies. She's the force behind the culture vibe. Ladies and gents, it's Becky Ray. Started with rigger boots, hands in the grease, fixing forklifts, no time for peace. From the grind to the skies, she climbed her way. Now she's leading leaders, that's Becky Ray. Forklift queen turned culture guide. She's got the heart, the grit, the pride. From rail to aviation, she's been there, done that. Now she's kicking cultures with her CultureKick hat. Oh, shock loss, bringing you the best, we're built to last. Becky Ray is here to stay, United Kingdom's queen. She's leading the way. She speaks of cake, but it's more than sweet. It's layers of culture where excellence meets. Leaders who listen, teams that thrive. Becky's the spark that makes cultures alive. From health and safety to high-risk zones, she builds workplaces like kingdom thrones. With every workshop, keynote, and smile, she's been making work feel worthwhile. Because better people become better leaders, building better cultures, that's her song. She's been doing it right, she's been doing it strong. Who's shot ball? Shot pot, the stage where legends broadcast. Becky Ray is here to slay. 31st of July, save the day. So come along, we'll see the queen of culture rise at 12 p.m. London time under global skies. On the shot garden us where stars align. Becky Ray's story, it's your time to shine.
From every corner of the globe, welcome to the Shack Podcast, the stage where we don't just host conversations, we celebrate legacies. You see, at Shack Podcast, we are on a mission. We seek out souls who are not just building careers, but building moments. Leaders who don't just manage teams, but uplifts cultures. Voices that don't just shout for attention, but whisper truths that change industries. Today, you are about to meet one such leader, a woman whose journey is not just inspiring, it's defining. A leader who started her career with rigger boots and grease stained hands, working on forklift trucks in environments where safety wasn't just a policy, it was a way of survival. From the factory floors to high-risk operational sites, from rail, construction, manufacturing, utilities to military aviation, she has lived every layer of the culture she now transforms. She is not a consultant who observes from the sidelines. She's been in the trenches, felt the pulse of frontline teams, and has emerged as a global architect of high performance cultures. She is the founder and CEO of CultureKick Limited, the creator of the iconic CultureKick framework, a method that turns frustration into focus, compliance into connection, and workplaces into spaces where people are proud to belong. But beyond the accolades, beyond the frameworks, she is a leader who believes in people. She's a champion. She champions curiosity, fairness, and authenticity in every interaction. She doesn't fix problems. She builds solutions with the very teams who face them. Today, we don't just welcome a guest. We welcome a revolution in motion. We welcome a leader whose story deserves a global stage. We welcome a culture queen whose impact echoes far beyond industries. It is my absolute privilege on behalf of the team Shack Podcast and a global audience for real change to welcome to this stage Becky Ray, the culture queen from the United Kingdom. How are you today, Becky?
Wow, I'm just at a bit of awe at that introduction. It was like next level. So I'm very honored and I appreciate your kind and generous words and the opportunity to talk to your audience. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. The pleasure is all mine. So, everyone tuning in, I want you to flood the comments with a yellow heart emoji for Becky Ray. Let us know where you are joining from and tell us, what does culture mean to you in one word? Let's create a culture storm in the chat. So, Becky, how are you today, and how's the weather outside in London? I think you are in London, or
Yeah, not far from London, a little place called Bristol. So it's blue skies, sunshine. We're in this midst of summer. So yeah, we've got glorious weather. All the trees are green and yeah, it's a really good time of year.
awesome, awesome. It's a very good time of the year and a very great day to be on the Shack podcast, Becky. So, Becky, without further ado, let's start the session with your journey. Your journey is legendary, starting with rigger boots, fixing forklifts, to leading global cultural transformations. For those who are hearing your story for the first time, who is Becky Ray beyond the titles and achievements?
Hmm. Well, what would you like to know? I'm happy to start wherever you want.
Uh, you can start with your journey, how it all started from the beginning.
And I think most of our careers make sense when we look back, but when we're in them, we're doing the most sensible thing for our first step. So I had a real mechanical mindset. So I loved how things worked. So it was natural for me to go into an engineering career when I left college. So at the age of 17, I started an apprenticeship, which is where you learn a job on the job by doing the job, coupled with sort of a college education. And so I became a forklift truck engineer. So I used to manage and maintain forklift trucks and various other bits of big, heavy, dirty equipment. And I loved it. Like I really enjoyed that environment. I loved using my brain and my hands to fix stuff. I've always been fascinated with how things work. I worked for a large company called Caterpillar. I know they're obviously a global firm that most people would recognize that brand. A fantastic organization. I had a van, I had a toolkit, I had overalls, and I would drive from site to site fixing their broken kit. But what it meant, and I probably didn't appreciate this at the time, is that I spent a lot of time in a lot of different businesses, fast-paced, operational, dynamic environments, typically high risk and typically pressurized, because when I would arrive, their production or their operation was paused because something was broke. And then you'd see leaders kind of running around going, oh, what can we do? So I became quite good at being like a calming effect in those scenarios. And actually, I soaked up a lot of the components that make a decent, high performing culture, especially when things go wrong, because that's when you see leaders' true colors coming out, when it kind of stops and pauses and people have to adapt and flex and tweak and change things. I believe that's when we see a leader's real kind of approach when it's not going smoothly. So I've got a lot of exposure to that. I did that for 10 years, so a good chunk of time. And to be fair, the only reason I moved past that is because there was a lot of like lying around in puddles and all weather working, and I knew I wanted to do something else. I wanted to get into new spaces. I was really curious. I wanted to learn. So I retrained as a health and safety leader, got my necessary qualifications, and then worked in health and safety leadership for a number of large organizations. So in the UK, the company that operates the railways and the infrastructure is called Network Rail, really large organization. I worked for them doing safety improvement and safety leadership. So spent a lot of time on big construction infrastructure sites. So think bridges, tunnels, those kinds of environments. So throwing a load of people at a big, complex, heavy, kind of dirty engineering project, and getting them to deliver loads of work in quite a short time frame, because it's not possible to just shut the railways to do all the work. We've kind of got to work in small bits of time. So really understood the logistics of doing big complex operations in small windows. And again, the leadership and the culture plays a massive part in that running smoothly. I also worked for, again, quite a variety of industries, mainly because I'm so curious and I want to understand how things work, because I've got that mechanical mind. So I love spending time in new industries. So I did a bit in military aviation, working on RAF bases. Really fascinating kind of work. Manufacturing of food and of steel. So food manufacturing, steel, wood manufacturing, utilities, again, sort of infrastructure, the kind of like lifeblood of a country, all the stuff we need to do to keep the infrastructure. I really like those kinds of projects. So did kind of that health and safety leadership, but moved more into operational leadership. And I got really curious about leadership, and equally the leadership that we display builds the cultures that exist. So again, soaking up that in various different environments, all high risk, all fast paced, all operational. That's the kind of spaces I really love. Did that weirdly for another 10 years. I know I don't look old enough. And now 5 years in to running CultureKick, where I get to partner with leaders, again, in a wide variety of spaces, to empower them to create high performance cultures where people can just get stuff done, feel good doing it. And the happy byproducts are obviously safety and efficiency and performance. But mainly is I want people to feel good going to work, because then you've got a better chance of achieving good work. Does any of that resonate with you, Shaq, and your kind of ethos?
Yep. That did resonate with me. I mean, say creating a positive culture in an organization will lead to success of that very organization, and also make people happy, and also make people to come for work. They does not have to push every Monday. Oh man, we have to go for work today.
Yeah,
I understand that. I've been into the full time. I've been a part of the corporate world for starting my own business and starting Shark podcast. Anyhow, I do understand that, Becky. So, people listening to us, if you've got any questions, just put them in the chat, and I would be happy to answer. I would be happy to put them across to Becky, and she would be happy to answer them all. Well, today's show is all about Becky's achievements and Becky's work, and all about Becky. Let's Beckyfy this podcast. Okay. So, Becky, my next question for you would be, you've been in high risk industries, rail construction and aviation. How did these environments shape your leadership approach to culture building?
So I think the link is, when you've got a high risk environment, what you do, what you don't do, what you say, what you don't say really matters, because it's high risk because there's a risk of hurting people or something going wrong and causing something like really catastrophic. So it's really important that people have got a level head, they've got a good mindset, they've got what they need when they need it. And also when stuff goes wrong, because it inevitably will, that they can pause, take a breath, and go, right, we can look at it this way, and have that kind of go-getter attitude that everything's figure outable, but not in a really aggressive kind of way, just in a let's be calm. We can turn this chaos into calm, and we can kind of move through it. So I've got a lot of exposure to that, and I think it's really important that people understand how they feel. Are they scatty? Are they running around trying to do 100 things at once? Or have they got a bit of a system? They appreciate the importance of being calm, listening, being curious, asking questions, because even the greatest leaders haven't got all the answers themselves. So they need to be curious and empathetic and compassionate to those experts around them, because collectively, that's how we solve problems and overcome challenges that we face.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that brief answer. So, Becky, I want to ask you, what happens in the case of a person? I mean, say, do you also deal with difficult employees and improve their performance as well? Because some people are there in a team who they work less, they push back more. So do you also deal with these kind of persons, or only people who, what are the different kind of people you deal with when you work with an organization?
Yeah, so for me, my kind of sweet spot, the layer of an organization that I work with the most, is the kind of middle management. So in a really simplistic form, most organizations have got about 4 layers. They've got the top team, the senior directors. They've then got I'll go from the bottom, actually, it'll make more sense. So they've got the workforce, which is the bulk of your employees. You've then got a layer above, which is like supervisors, team leaders. I call those operational leaders. Then you've got their bosses, which may be heads of operational leaders. And then you've got the senior directors. My sweet spot is those middle 2 layers. So I need the autonomy and the oversight from the senior leaders. But the biggest layer that I think has the biggest impact on culture are those 2 layers. So supervisors, team leaders, the people that are set into work, the bulk of your workforce. And like you say, if you've got an individual that's having a challenging time, maybe he's not performing in the way that you would like, it's those supervisors and team leaders that are going to be having those conversations. So I wouldn't work directly with that worker, but I would partner with those leaders to empower them to have the kind of constructive conversations that are going to help that worker. And my starting point would be curious and non-judgmental, because it's easy for us to judge and to look and go, that worker's lazy, or that worker's not performing, or that worker's not doing this and this, and come up with a judgment or an assumption. That's how your brain works, because it wants to be efficient. But actually, we don't know what that worker's perception of work is like. We don't know what that worker's going through, maybe at home or in the workplace. So the starting point of that conversation is you leave all your judgments and assumptions over here, and you go and have an open conversation with that worker and go, hey, how's it going? And just speak to them human to human and find out what's going on for them and how you as a leader can help them perform better. We don't need to go in and go, well, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, here's a problem. Leave all that to the side. Just be curious and non-judgmental, and come in with the how can I help you kind of mindset. Because I believe leaders' main job is to help the workforce deliver, whether it's a service or a product. Their only main job is to empower that workforce, give them what they need when they need it, the skills, the knowledge, the equipment, the resources, so that your workforce can deliver excellent work.
Awesome. I can totally relate to that. I mean, say, confrontation versus speaking to that person and understanding his position, which is rarely a trait in today's business world. To be very honest, corporate world, especially I am in India right now, and I'm from India. To be very honest, for the past 10 years, I have worked for the United States, mostly remote from India. I have seen in the corporate culture in India, and also because I've been working for US companies for the past 10 years, there is a cutthroat competition kind of thing. And for that, they need results. They does not want to understand what is the other person going through, but they want deliverables, or they want delivery of their task, of their project, and that's it. I mean, say it comes down to profits and making more money. But your approach is something different, and that will definitely change the face of organizational development. And I feel that if this approach is applied, that will definitely change, the results which
But I think you
will
can
be
have
delivered by
both.
the teams or the org.
Yeah. But I believe you can have both. I believe you can be compassionate and empathetic and be curious and non-judgmental and build these cultures with your teams. And then the output is better performance and more profits. The businesses I'm working with are performing well and profitable because of the culture that they create. And equally, if you have got a mindset of my people are just numbers and I just want a certain output from them, again, that layer of leadership that sits above your workforce, that layer of leadership is not there to crack the whip and to tell people what to do. It's to give those workers what they need so that they can deliver. Because if you're a worker, no matter what your business does, people have got an innate drive to do a good job. I don't want to leave work and go, oh, it was a terrible day and my boss shouted at me and I didn't deliver. Say I have to deliver 10 things today. People want to deliver 10 things. And often the reason they can't deliver 10 things is the business didn't set them up in such a way so it was easy for them to deliver 10 things. So I feel like we can have both. And I understand that different cultures, different countries, sometimes there still is that almost traditional, I pay you, I want you to deliver 10, so just deliver 10. I think we can still have a great output and a great performance because at the end of the day, that's what businesses are trying to achieve. It's okay for businesses to want to make money. It's not like a dirty word, but we can do that and make people feel good and feel like they're thriving. It might be that you've got people in your team that aren't the right fit for the business. And even if you give them everything they need, they're still not satisfied because it's just not the right work for them. And those kinds of people potentially need to find an alternative space where they're going to thrive in. Not every kind of person will thrive in your organization, but we have to give them the opportunity to thrive.
Exactly. You cannot judge a fish from his ability, from its ability to climb a tree. Yes, I can
Yeah.
totally relate to that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for telling that. I mean, say I feel when I was a leader working with my last, I was account manager working for Cognizant in my last organization. Cognizant and Accenture were our clients, and I was assigned to Cognizant. So, as a leader, what I feel and what I believe is every person is special and every person is useful. We just have to point him in the right direction.
Yeah.
What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, definitely. Because if you've got a business, regardless of what you do, and you need to employ people to help you do it, like there are people with lives and dreams and aspirations and families, like they are special, they are unique. And if you want them to help you and your business deliver these outcomes, then yeah, treat them with respect and empathy and compassion. And each person is unique by their nature. So it might mean as a leader, you have to have one-to-one conversations with people. What motivates me and what I need might be different to the next person, because we're not robots, we're not machines, we are unique individuals with unique skills and attributes. But once you build that rapport with someone in your team, you understand what's driving them, what's motivating them, what is important for them, and it's not the same across the board, then you can give that person what they need to thrive in your organization. And then guess what? Your organization benefits. It's a win-win. But when we treat people like numbers or machines or robots, and we try and standardize performance and environments, we're often shocked that people aren't performing at the same levels. But people are different. But everyone has got that appetite to do good, to do well, to achieve stuff. It makes us feel good as humans if we have a good day at work. Most people want to have a good day at work and feel a sense of achievement, feel satisfied that they've done some good for the purpose of your business. Every business is trying to achieve something, not just money in the bank, but a purpose to better the world in some way. And your people will help you do that, but only if you take the time to get to know them and treat them and respect them as people.
Exactly. I totally agree with you on this, Becky.
Yeah.
So, to be very honest, these were not part of the questions, but these things which we discussed right now are out of my own curiosity, because I have seen places where most of the places, not most of the places, but I've seen some places where they have a fire and hire at will policy, which is not at all good, I don't think, because I come from a recruitment background. I know the cost which involves, to be very honest with you, our biggest problem when I was working with big corporates, our biggest problem was to control the attrition rate. Attrition, I think you know about this word, attrition, where people leave very quickly your organization. They get hired and they leave quickly. Now, the cost involving to hire these people again, the hiring cost and everything, and the time involving, that was a tremendous loss to the company and loss of precious time as well. But if we understand these people who are already with us from a very long time, they are used to the culture, they're used to you, they're used to the office environment or the company's environment, which they know you, we know them. And so we just have to, walk in their shoes, just understand what's going on, ask them questions. If we can help, we should help. If he's upset about something, whatever we could do professionally. I'm not telling getting involved very much, but professionally we can do many things. If he's having a problem with his pay, we can definitely discuss a raise with him and give him some more targets to motivate him. We can also offer incentives, which are bonuses and things like that. We can also plan for what we used to call was office dinners or office get-togethers somewhere, just to refresh the spirits, or just to mingle with the workers and just to socialize. To be very honest with you, I remember there was once a trainer when I was in training. Before joining, we have a training of 2 months. So I had a trainer, and her name was Becky. Also, anyhow, but that Becky and this Becky is completely different. That Becky always used to say that in corporates, people should not have any social connections or social life. Do not socialize with each other. This is only business. You do your work, go get paid, go home, which will I mean, say I never agreed with her statements. Also, it was only for 2 months, so we just went ahead with the training, and that's it. But that is a very poisonous and a wrong approach when it comes to success of an organization. I've also seen in some companies that people get, if I'm sorry if I'm using a strong language, but they get humiliated for time because they are junior and senior and stuff like that. That's also will give a drastic, that will put, or that will create a drastic effects on the results or on the overall success of the company. This is what I feel, and I'm feeling so fortunate that I'm speaking to a person who is just in line with my thinking. So, Becky, so sorry, I'm taking much of your time.
Fine, it's
But
interesting.
so this is what I felt from heart. So I thought that I should be telling my audience and you as well.
Yeah. So in terms of
So
so,
without
yeah.
you know wait, without waiting anymore, let's get to the next question. And the next question is for you, Becky. Culture is often misunderstood as posters and slogans, that is lip service by the hierarchies and the authorities, the C-suite leaders. So tell us about your culture kick framework and how it's changing the narrative.
Nice, thank you. Yeah, and I think culture is quite an abstract term and it will mean different things to different people. But from my perspective, I think culture is the way that we do things in your business. And because of my background, all my culture stuff is around the operations of a business. So the people that do the work to provide the products or the services. So the people that physically do that work, whether that's in an office or a factory or out on site. So all of my stuff is really operationally focused. It's not about bean bags in the corner and pizzas on a Friday. As much as they're nice, they're not necessarily going to change the culture in a fundamental way. We need to look at the way that we're setting people to work so that they can achieve good work. So the 5 layers of this culture cake, and it needed to be something with layers, right? I thought about a lasagna, but I thought when I do speaking gigs, I often take a cake and it's going to be way easier to carry a cake around. So the 5 layers of this cake are, the first one is make it easy. Whatever we're asking people to do, we need to make it easy for them to show up and do that well. And often we don't think about work like that. We're like, well, you've had your training, just get on and do it. But often there's things in the way that stop me doing a good job. There's bureaucracy, there's too many layers on stuff. I can't find that a bit of equipment. There's things that get in the way of making it as easy as possible to do the work and to do the work well. The second layer is all about a speak up culture. So we want to know how our people feel, what's working, what's not. We want people to feel like they're allowed to put their hand up and ask a question, to raise a concern or a frustration, or to raise an idea or a suggestion, because your people know your business better than anybody else because they're in it, they're working there. And every business needs to change and adapt and tweak and change its course because we live in a world and a marketplace that changes so frequently. So your best people are the people that work there. They're going to know what we can tweak and change. But a speak up culture is a two-way conversation. So it's quite easy to ask your workforce to speak up, but they need to be met with supervisors and team leaders and leaders that actually take the time to listen and to do something about it. If your leaders are too busy doing their day job to have a word with a team member, or they just brush it off and go, oh, that's a silly question, or that's a stupid idea that'll never work, then guess what? People won't speak up. And then you've got a whole load of business knowledge that's just trapped in the heads of your workforce because they've got no platform to share those ideas or concerns. And that then turns into resentment. The third layer is called frustrations into focus. So if I'm frustrated at work, it means there's something in my way of me doing a fantastic job. And if I'm frustrated, it's a horrible, heavy emotion that I carry around. And it means I can't do a great job, and I won't do a great job if I'm feeling frustrated, because it's an emotion that you need to let go of and resolve. So that's why I say, work out what's frustrating your team members and put a focus on it. And you either want to remove it, if you can. If there's something in my way and it's frustrating me and we can remove it, let's do that. If we can't remove it, can we reduce it in some way? Can we make it less of a problem, less of a challenge, or tweak it or change it in some way? So remove, reduce, or reframe it. It might be this thing is frustrating me, this paperwork I've got to fill in, this system I've got to input something into, and it's really frustrating me, but I don't know what it's for. And if someone could come in and go, oh, that paperwork you've got to fill in, it might seem frustrating, but actually it really helps like pull in the accounts department, because that information helps us get paid by our clients. If I know that, guess what? I'm probably less frustrated about it because I see the bigger picture and the impact of my work. And those reframing conversations are so quick. They don't cost any money. They're just conversations, but they really help people see a bigger picture. And then the final two layers are all about learning. Your business needs to learn and adapt and change continuously. So we need to learn from failure, because guess what? Stuff's going to go wrong. Of course, we don't want it to, but it will. Failure is inevitable on the path to success. We have to get things wrong to be able to get things right. So we need to view failure with that mindset of this is giving us information to learn from so that we can get better. But often organizations have got zero tolerance for failure, and then they just blame the last person who touched it, and we lose the opportunity to learn. So I really want businesses to see failure for what it is, an opportunity to learn. And then the final one is about everyday learning. So if I've done a full day's work yesterday, nothing's gone wrong, everything's gone right, what can I learn from what I did, what my team did, how we did it? What can we learn about those tasks, those projects, those conversations we had? There'll be learning to be had from every single day, but only if we pause and reflect back over it. And you can do this as an individual. You can stop at the end of your day and go, hey, how was my day? What went well? What didn't? What can I learn? And what can I plow into tomorrow's work to do a better job tomorrow? And that ethos is that continuous improvement model. And if we started doing that today, just think where we would be in 3 months, 6 months, a year. Think how much we would learn if we took the time to grasp it. So they are the 5 layers of the culture cake. And I believe that's what makes a good culture, not the nicest coffee in town, or like we'll all go for pizza on a Friday. It's the fundamental stuff that allows me and my teammates to do a great job.
With the AI storm taking over every organization, and I would want to say at the top of my voice, big organizations laying off employees like they are just numbers. I mean, say they need to rethink their strategy, and they, I mean, say on humanitarian grounds, they need to be very empathetic, because I just heard that Microsoft laid off 15,000 employees. and these are 15,000 peoples with people mouths to feed. But anyhow, the culture cake framework is an awesome uh, formula, I think, according to me. And if this formula is in place with organizations, it would be a lot better than, I mean, say what is currently happening, and it would be a lot better if they apply this formula, or if they hire you. And I would want to say, if they hire you, it's going to change the organization inside out, upside down. The results are going to go up. Everyone will be happy. The workers will be happy because it's a positive culture. The higher leadership will be happy because they will definitely make more money with positive and happy faces. That is what I want to say about the culture cake formula, or the framework. And I liked it very much when you explained that in such detail.
You're welcome.
And
And
I,
just your point on AI, and I think AI gets a bad reputation, but for me, AI can work in unison with the people in your business because we're trying to make it easy to do work. So businesses that are enhancing their operation with AI will help the people that we've got, because I don't think we're going to get rid of everyone. That AI can't do every single job. Like AI can't build a building on a construction site, but it can help project plan and do some of the admin and some of the automations on a building per se. AI is never going to replace all humans. I don't think that's a possibility, but we can work together in harmony so that AI can keep track of some of the stuff that we just don't want to do, or it's not a good use of our time to do. So you're right. I think we need to be mindful of that, but we need to work in a place where we've got a culture where both exist in harmony. And I think that's possible. We're just in the messy middle right now because it's all so new and people are potentially being rash and letting people go. But I think there's a place for everyone, and it will make jobs more attractive. It will get rid of some jobs that are quite menial and repetitive, that don't bring people that job satisfaction, that can then be done by AI. So I think there's a place for both of it.
okay, well, that's great. That's an interesting perspective, Becky. Before moving to the next question, we only have around 12 minutes, and I think this one session is not enough for your vast knowledge. I think we have to request you for one more session, Becky, and I'm going to do that
Okay, cool.
whenever you are free. So, Becky, now this is important. You've spoken about AI and how we can work with, with AI in unison. You does not think that AI is replacing humans right now, or uh, do
So I
you
think
think that?
it is going to replace some jobs. Some jobs right now, and I'm not an expert in AI by any means, but some jobs or some tasks that some people do, they're not, it doesn't make sense for people to carry on doing really manual, automated, repetitive tasks that AI can do like that. So I think we need to use AI to take over those tasks. And some jobs probably won't exist in the future, but I don't think we can eradicate all human beings in the workplace. There's so many jobs that AI just can't do. So I think we're in a transition phase now, because AI is still relatively new to most businesses, and they're dabbling with how it can work in harmony with their employees. But I don't think we're going to replace all people, by no means. It's the same when in the agricultural industry, when the tractor was invented and added, people were like, oh, it's taking all our jobs. But now we work in harmony with tractors and other machines. We will adapt and find a way to work with it. And there'll be new jobs that don't exist now off the back of our new way of working.
Okay. What do you think now? Do you think that if you learn AI, then it's all right? Only persons who are replaced by AI are the persons who are not ready for this revolution or does not want to use AI. So, what do you suggest? We should learn AI, or how should we avoid being replaced by AI, and how should we work with
Yeah.
AI?
So I don't think we can avoid being replaced by AI, but I think everyone has a duty to understand AI and its capabilities. And right now, there's a big barrier because a lot of people don't understand it because it's so new and so novel and so unfamiliar. So there's a real fear, but there are loads of
Mhm.
people in the space that are taking what is quite complex and simplifying it for us. And we're in that space where I would encourage everyone to go out and start to do their research, to speak to people that are a few steps ahead of them so that they can understand it, so that we can allow AI to complement the work we do, so that we can be more efficient and more productive in our jobs. For example, a really simple example is if you go to a meeting online, you and somebody else, and you're having a detailed conversation about what your actions are, what your next steps are, what your decisions are, rather than me sat down with a pad and paper writing all the notes and the action plan, which maybe would take me an hour. AI can do it in seconds. So that's what I mean. Like, you still need to have conversations with people in business, but the
Mhm.
administration tasks of writing up the conversation and the actions, that's us working in harmony with AI. And that's just one example of something very simple that people can wrap their heads around. That can exist in all parts of your business. We just need to find a way to work in partnership with it. And the more you understand it, the more equipped you are to have these conversations within your teams about which parts of your job we can outsource. It's like outsourcing it to someone else, but the someone else is AI. But people still need to interact with AI to get the best from it. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Yes, it does. It does. Now, there is a much feeling about this AI thing right now among people, and I'm one of them. I feel that AI is replacing humans very fast. Uh, you know, to be very honest, um, most of the people are not ready for this storm. In the next 6 months, I'm going to tell you, uh, in the next 6 months, most of the jobs, especially people who are coders, will be taken by AI. But there is still a lot of improvement needs to be done by AI. But thank you so much, and I feel fortunate that I have listened to your perspective, and I does not hate AI now that much.
Yeah.
Hate is a strong word, but does not like AI. I wasn't in a very agreement with AI replacing all the people, like thousands of people. There are so many people who have been replaced, and these are smart people. They are not any uh, uh, these are smart engineers. I'm not sure what I need to say, but thank you so much, and I'm fortunate. And listening to you feels like there is still hope for those people.
Yeah, there
And
is. And
yes,
again, if they're smart people, if they're engineers, then they just need to move into this new space where AI can enhance their approach in the business. And there and new jobs that don't exist right now will exist in the future that work in harmony with AI, because AI is not going anywhere. We have to embrace it, we have to be mindful, and we will take a few steps forward and then a few steps back because we're in that messy middle phase where we haven't got it all figured out yet. But I feel like we need to embrace change. and be really proactive in what is my role in this new, modern, progressive, futuristic space where I can bring the best of my human creativity and innovation to the table to enhance this business in what they're doing. We need to reframe it in such a way, I believe.
Okay, well, that's a good perspective. And the first positive, note I have listened to from the time AI is taking over, one person who can explain each and everything in such detail. Thank you so much, Becky. Thank you for that. I really am happy. I'm happy that I had a chance to meet you and to speak to you.
Thank
To
you.
be very honest, Becky, we only discussed 3 questions from the 10 questions which I have written out, and it's already 1 hour. Becky, I want to ask you, I want to request you, would you agree to again grace the Shack podcast with your valuable knowledge
Yeah, sure.
in the
I'm happy
coming?
to. Yeah, I'm happy to.
Because 1 hour session is not enough for, as you are an ocean of knowledge, and everybody needs to hear about your work. That is what I feel.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Becky, before we wrap up the session, I want to ask you, what is your message to the world?
Whoa. Okay, I would say be curious and non-judgmental.
Awesome.
Mhm.
That's a powerful message to the world. And I'm going to make sure that your clips and your podcast will reach to many, many people, all
Thank
through social media, which is YouTube, X, Instagram, Threads, Truth Social. Becky Ray, today you did not just join the Shack podcast. You have created a ripple that will turn into a culture wave across industries. On behalf of Team Shack podcast and every heart that listened today, we thank you for leading with authenticity, for being a culture queen, and for proving that better people become better leaders who build better cultures. To all our viewers, Shack podcast, we don't amplify noise, we amplify legacies. And Becky Ray is a legacy in motion. I am Shaq, the seeker of souls, signing off until we find our next